trace our legacy back to 2009 when our founder, Mr. Kapil Shelke, decided to race an electric motorcycle at the Isle of Man TT. Before I get into how we leverage the power of cloud, I just wanted to walk you through the use cases, right? What were we trying to achieve? Why do we want to achieve those things? So for us, our primary focus at Tork Motors is the customer experience. We discovered what was called Tyros, right? We call it the Tork OS. And with this, what happened was everyone was still free to choose their tools, still free to modify their tools, but the interfaces came through us. There was no business logic associated with the tools anymore. All the business logic stayed with Tork. So accessing data between tools became really easy for us. The next thing we wanted to do was increase engagement. So that's where the mobile app actually came from, right? So customers said that, you know what, we want to know what's the state of charge on our bike, how much charge is there, how much can I still ride without actually putting it for charge, have I put it for charge? Then we realized we had two different sets of customers. One that was really performance oriented, the motorcycle customers who wanted to know how much they were leaning in on corners, how much power they were drawing. And at the same time, we also had customers who cared about economy, right? They were the ones who cared about equivalent of ICE engines would be mileage, right? So they want to know what their watt-hour per kilometer consumption was. So for both of them, we provided graphs. Now, the second thing that we were trying to achieve is we don't believe that we are in the transaction business, like typical ICE engine vehicles, right? We believe that we are in the relationship business. So when we go back to customers and we talk to them and we take feedback, one thing that they always also want is a vehicle that is constantly evolving with time. And that's where over-the-air upgrades come in, right? So with over-the-air upgrades, we are constantly refreshing our bikes. We are constantly adding new features, all of this while the customer is still sitting at home. The third thing is engineering teams and service teams, right? Engineering teams need data. Service teams need data. Currently, our vehicles monitor about 200 different sensors and collect data at 180 milliseconds. So the first thing is for engineering teams. They need this data to build better products, right? They need to know if customers are using the features that they're building. Are the customers not using the features that they're building, right? All of this helps engineering build better products in the future. The second is our service teams. Our service teams have been able to drastically bring down cost, at least 30 to 40%, only because of data. But with data, what happens is the service team knows in advance what the problem is, take the component from here, go there, install it in about 1 day's turnaround time, right? So even in cities where we don't have coverage, we can still service customers and have a turnaround time of 1 to 2 days. And that's what data helps us with. And finally, all of this data needs to be used somewhere, right? So this is what we feed back into our analytics models, right? Data for us has been a hockey stick growth for us, mostly because our sales have been a hockey stick growth, right? So with more bikes on the road, with more customers using these products, the more data we collect. And all of this feeds back into building better models for the future. The cloud journey that we took, so we were lucky. We had the luxury of being, or the privilege of being cloud native on day one, right? We didn't have any kind of baggage from the on-prem solutions. We were like, okay, we need to build apps yesterday. We need to build them fast. Our customers want them. What's the fastest route? And we realized that going cloud native day one was the best option for us, right? So without a doubt, cloud native has been the best decision we've taken. And all of the features that I've explained over the last few minutes have all been enabled by the cloud. One of the many questions I keep getting asked is, why not on-prem? Doesn't on-prem work? Why don't you have your own servers, right? Does it not actually bring down costs? The truth is, on-prem is possible, but not at the same cost, speed, and peace of mind, right? For me, it was more important that I can go back home and have peace of mind, knowing that I don't have to worry about the performance of my servers because Amazon or other cloud providers are taking care of that. We're in the process of moving our workloads to AWS. One of those many ways in which AWS helps us is reduction of TCO, increased security, and obviously the carbon footprint, like I said. What this picture doesn't show you is the entirety of it, because we actually have AWS services that are also going to run on the vehicles, right? So AWS Greengrass is something that we're trying out on the vehicles. It'll help us not just with cloud connectivity, but also with pushing our ML ops models onto the vehicle. And this is how we're going to build a constantly improving vehicle with constant feedback loops. The future of automotive, they say, is CASE, connected, autonomous, shared, and electric, right? And autonomous, shared, and electric, you have a lot of startups doing a lot of great work in this area. A lot of OEMs also doing a lot of great work in this area. But the eventuality that we have today is the connectivity part, right? I don't expect myself or any of you to buy your next automobile that is not connected. Not just auto, this is true even with white goods, right? So your next refrigerator, your next washing machine, your next watch has to be a connected product. The cloud has truly democratized product development. This is not just for automotive, but for any kind of hardware or software product development, right? This technology is available to you to access right now if you have a laptop and an internet connection, right? When we started off 10 years, 15 years ago, this was not as widespread as it is today. Costs were still prohibitive. Today, they are not, right? And the variety of services that AWS alone provides is unparalleled, right? I counted about 200 services that I think I can use today or in the next 6 months, right? There's services all the way from IoT to AI/ML to blockchain. There's also a SATCOMs, satellite communication service that AWS has. And finally, if you're just getting started, speak to AWS team about the AWS Lift program. We partnered with AWS to join this Lift program because the Lift program provides you discounts at scale, right? And what this enables us is that as we grow, we also want to have that flexibility of innovation. We want to try new use cases. We want to try things that people have not tried before. And all of this would otherwise cost a lot of money, but because of the AWS Lift program, that kind of gets negated. Also, the great thing about the AWS Lift program is that it's all about discounts at scale. So as we grow from 1,000 vehicles on the road today to 100,000, from 20 dealerships to 20,000 dealerships, over the next 1 year, AWS Lift is also going to help me get those discounts to try out those use cases and sustain my development.